Today we're installing a new radiator in my daily driver, Old Red, my 01 Cummins. The Mishimoto aluminum radiator fits the 1994 to 2002 Dodge 2nd Gen Cummins offerings. Mishimoto Radiator, it's an all aluminum unit. They chose aluminum because aluminum dissipates heat better. This has an increased cooling capacity as well inside of this radiator. The end tanks are all welded aluminum, so really nice unit. Don't have to worry about cracking a plastic end cap like like what happened with my stock one. We'll show you that when we get it out. The radiator cap that comes with the Mishimoto offering, this is a 19 psi cap. The stock one is 15 psi. By raising the pressure on the radiator, you're actually going to be decreasing the boiling point of the coolant that's in it. Let's see what other features. Oh, the magnetic drain plug. The Mishimoto radiators have got a really nice hex head drain plug instead of one of those chintzy plastic ones. This is magnetic, so if you have any particles that go through the radiator, the drain plug is magnetic and it will catch it. So another thing that we're going to run into with this, and we'll show you as the video goes along, front crank seals on Dodges. We're going to link you to a video on how to install a front crank seal, because if you're doing the radiator installation on your 2nd Gen truck, I promise you, just like we're going to find on this one, you're going to run into a leaky crank seal. So let's go ahead and get started with our installation of the Mishimoto aluminum radiator. First couple of steps in our installation of our Mishimoto radiator here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook my batteries. Now, before you start giving me flack in the comments section of why are you unhooking the batteries to do a radiator installation, let me just tell you, anytime I've got the hood open on this truck, if I'm not changing the oil, I'm probably unhooking the batteries, because I've laid enough wrenches down around batteries and arced enough that I know better than that. So if you're like me and you got real bad luck, unhook your batteries and you don't have to worry about it. Also, you're going to be working with the crossover 12-volt wire that goes to the passenger side. It's just a good idea to unhook them. So I've already got these unhooked. Next step is going to be drain the radiator. The radiator petcock on the stock radiator is going to be on driver's side. You can just loosen it up and start letting it drain. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Let our radiator start draining, and then we'll move our 12-volt wire. So we're draining the radiator right now. I got to pick up my handy dandy Leatherman here. So we're draining our radiator right now. You can remove your cap and drain just a little bit faster. So first, now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get this 12-volt crossover wire, the battery crossover wire, get it unbolted from the radiator. These are all 10 metric. So go ahead and pull those off. You will be reusing these nuts, so make sure you keep your hardware. This radiator in particular, the end cap had broke on this, so that was what was causing my leak. And glad it didn't leave me on the side of the road. Right, on those clips, just kind of work them back and forth there, and they're corroded, but eventually they will pop right up. I just kind of pull them towards me, and there you go. Just take your wiring harness, lay it over out of your way. I've got my batteries disconnected, so I can do that. I don't have to worry about it touching something and sparking on me. Keep your hardware. Next step is to remove the coolant overflow bottle. So passenger side of the radiator, we're going to go ahead and remove the overflow hose that connects to the radiator. The coolant overflow bottle, when you grab it, and most of the time when you look at it, you can see that it's just got a couple of little slide dowels where it goes into the radiator shroud. There's a alignment pin midway of the bottle that actually locks it into the shroud. Okay, so to dislodge the overflow bottle, what we do is take something a little bit wide, like I use one of my interior tools, my small one here. And I'm going to move my hand so you can kind of see where I've placed that. I placed it about middle way down of the overflow bottle. You can actually see back in there where the alignment pin is, and you're going to see this when we pull it out. So I use my little interior tool there, and I'll twist it, and that's going to give me enough relief that I should be able to grab the overflow bottle. Try to move it by the bottom instead of grabbing it by the neck, and the overflow bottle will come right out. You can see that little plastic round pin, that's actually what locks the coolant overflow bottle in. A lot of people struggle with that. You can tell by the amount of oil on that. I got a leaking crank seal. We'll get to that in just a second. All right, now we're going to want to go ahead and remove our upper radiator hose. You don't have to fully remove it. You can just unhook it from the radiator side and fold it over. So that's what we're going to do now. If you don't have a pair of these radiator clamp pliers, you should get a set because they are much handier than trying to do it with a pair of channel locks, especially if you're going to be working on trucks there. So I'm just going to walk around this and get it dislodged, and I will side note on this, another feature that or another product that Mishimoto offers is they offer a set of radiator hoses for these trucks that are replacement radiator hoses. You can get them in, I think, red or black, and maybe even blue as well. That would dress up your engine bay if you decide to do that, or you got a radiator hose that's busted on you. So got that out of the way and folded back. That gives us access to our wiper washer bottle, which is going to be the next thing that we remove. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove our washer fluid bottle. There's an electrical connector that you're going to have to remove on this, as well as the fluid feed hose that goes out to your jets. So to unhook the electrical connector, which is directly at the bottom of the bottle, just push it out. And then if you feel with your hands going to the bottom, you will find the fluid feed line. And you just pop it off, pull straight back towards the cab of the truck. There you can see the feed line. You're going to lose your washer fluid here, but it is what it is. And conveniently, if you've still got your pan there for catching your coolant, it'll catch most of the wiper fluid that you're going to lose here. So now we're going to remove the wiper washer fluid bottle. Fun fact on this one, it's actually got two locking tabs. There's one on the outside and there's one on the inside. If you don't know that, you'll struggle with this. As you raise the washer bottle up as well, you'll notice that these two tabs at the top may hold you too. So there's a little bit of trickery going on here. I like to use just kind of a soft face putty knife if I can to get back in there, and that'll give me the depth I need to get to that second one. So I'll push it in and kind of trip it like that. And once the bottle starts up like this, you just want to make sure you pay attention to these upper tabs, and the bottle will pull right out. So just don't forget your second locking tab, which can make your life really stinky here. Oh, and the wiper washer, the power to the motor, disconnected as well. The next step is to remove the radiator shroud. To do that, there are two, let me move this ratchet real quick. To do that, there are two clips on the top of the shroud, and as well, there are 4 bolts, 2 on the driver's side, 10 metric, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, right here and here, and then passenger side, sorry about the shaky camera work, right here and below it right there. We're going to remove those 4 bolts, but first we're going to do our top 2 clips. So while Adam's closer on this side, these clips, they're a little tricky, but what I like to do is I just take a pick tool and get on the bottom of them, and once I've got it away from the radiator, then I'll come in at the top with my pick tool and just kind of roll the clip away from the shroud itself. That way you don't tear the clip up and you don't tear your shroud up, because you can see they've got little engaging teeth there. So we're going to get both of these clips out. Same thing over here, just start at the bottom, pop it out. That'll keep you from tearing your clip out. So you can see we're just about ready to go on that. I'm going to set these right here where I remember where they are. Now I'm going to remove my 10 metric bolts from the shroud. You will not be reusing these back. Mishimoto sends bolts with the new radiator that will be used. Before you unbolt the passenger side of the radiator shroud, you're going to want to unhook the lower radiator hose. All right, lower radiator hose, and that's, again, this is where the radiator hose clamp pliers really come into play here. This is kind of a tight little fit, and the clamp is usually up, which is the hardest way that it can possibly be, but hey, who's counting? So I'm going to move that clamp back here. All right, now we're going to start working to dislodge the lower radiator hose. This lower radiator hose has got a spring in it to keep it rigid, so make sure that you're aware of that. You want to move your catch can over to this side as well, because it doesn't matter, when you unhook this lower radiator hose, you're going to probably get a little bit residual like that. It's going to roll out. So make sure you roll your can over to catch the coolant. All right, so we just want to push it out of the way, and now that gives us access to move the shroud back. So we'll go ahead and unbolt these other two 10 metrics. So we're just going to sit that back. Now there's two on the bottom of the shroud, there's two little tabs. There's kind of locate tabs. You can just kind of pick that up and set it back, and it'll clear that. So you can see that cap right there, Adam. Yep, light. See what? So this plastic end cap had busted here, cracked. And that's where our leak was. So you can kind of see those two slots there, Adam, where the shroud came out. And I guess I haven't explained very well how this is going. We're leaving the radiator fan in here. We're moving the shroud back because the radiator now, we've got two more bolts that we're going to undo, and once we get those, the radiator will actually will slide right out, which is a really nice feature of it. The shroud, when you first look at it, kind of looks a little daunting, but it's really not that big of a deal. So let me get my socket for that. Adam said he kind of missed that shot of showing where the little locating tabs are on the bottom of the radiator here, or bottom of the shroud, where the actual fan shroud goes. I apologize. So I'm going to lift the fan shroud itself up, and you can actually see where those locating tabs are that they go into right there where my light is. So put it back in there, take it out. So that's where the two tabs that the fan shroud was actually in. There's one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. So now we're going to remove the two bolts that actually hold the radiator in on the diesels. There are only two, and they are 10 metrics. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. And once these are out, we are ready to remove the radiator. Now, if you're doing this and you're just taking the radiator out to clean it, and if you've got a leaking crank seal like mine, terribly, you will want to make sure that when you're working with your ratchet there, don't be flopping around like I was and knock the neck of your radiator off. If you knock the little neck of your radiator off, there's a little nipple on your radiator, you can buy a Mishimoto radiator from us. You will not be disappointed. The 10 metrics that hold the radiator in pretty long bolts too, so. Keep going. This is a really good excuse to buy the 3/8 drive sideways power ratchet from Snap-on that I've been wanting for a while. I think I'll do that. Hopefully my wife is not watching, but yeah. I'm gonna ask Adam to take a free hand he's got, and he and I are just gonna lift this radiator right straight out. Easy. Oh, you can sit it right there, Adam, and then I'll take it. Look at that. Yes, sir. Look at that. As you all can see, my leaking crank seal has caused us a pretty good sized problem. I'm going to show the back side of it, Adam, right here. You weren't getting any air through that radiator. This is something to be very conscious of. All 5.9 and 6.7s are eventually going to have a leaking front crank seal. You're going to want to take care of that. It's a cheap part. It's an easy fix. We've showed you how easy it is to get the radiator out, clean the radiator. The radiator is behind the intercooler in this stack. It's harder to get to. So if you're cleaning it with normal washing methods and whatnot, you're not going to get this kind of dirt cleaned out of it. So we've shown you how to remove the radiator. Now you can click on the link in this video. We're going to show you how to replace the crank seal. Guarantee you, second gen truck, you're probably going to need to do it while you've got this down. You can look back inside our engine bay here. Adam, I'll sit this over and we'll take one last look inside of here. You can see the general amount of filth, oil filth that's in here. That's going to get fixed today as well. So click on the link for the installation of our crank seal, and we'll show you how to do that. And we're going to come back and show you how to install the Mishimoto radiator. Getting ready to install our Mishimoto radiator now. The first thing I want you all to be aware of is a lot of times on your old radiators when it comes out, the rubber isolator that actually goes back in the truck will come out. Once we get over the truck, I'll show you where those go. There's one of those that was stuck on this radiator, so that'll go with us. There's also a couple of rubber bushings. Adam, I'll turn it around so you can see. A couple of rubber bushings that are going to have to get rolled over into the new radiator, so we'll go ahead and pop those out. Just pull them straight up. All right. Lay that back down. All right. So now we're ready. We'll insert those two bushings on our new Mishimoto radiator. Then I'm going to show you where this rubber isolator goes. So we're ready to sit our Mishimoto radiator back in now. I want to show you where these isolators go for the radiator. One right here on the passenger side of the far corner. Our missing one was over here on the driver's side. It's the last hole on the outside. So we're good there until we drop our light. Oh, found it. Look at that. All right, dropped it again. Dropsies. All right. No, just kidding. There's your isolator, passenger side, driver side isolator right here. So we got them both in. Dropsies. A couple of things on prepping on the before we put a radiator in. The bushings that go at the top of the radiator, you'll notice there's a wider metal flange on this side. One side has it, one side doesn't, basically. The wider side goes towards the outside of the truck, or goes towards the intercooler. Before you set the radiator in, you want to get a 3/4 inch wrench and tighten up the drain bolt right here. Don't want to get this in, start pouring coolant in and have it go everywhere. So Hunter, why don't you grab the other side of this, since you're not doing anything, you can help me push this in. Hunter Main's, everybody, celebrity stand-in. So, all right. We're gonna go right between this radiator shroud, Hunter. Easy with it. We got a couple of guide buttons down there in Hunter's. I'll let you get yours in.
Does yours look good?
I think so. I think I'm in.
I'll get them on spot too. This hose will just have to slide over.
Actually, Hunter, I don't think we're there. I think we need it. We can feel for the posts. Yeah, we're off.
Where at?
I don't know. don't know if it's my side or your side. Pick it up, Hunter, just pick straight up. There you go.
I thought mine was good.
There it is. I think that's it, buddy. Let's see what we can see down from below. If my light will hold up. All right. Ready to go toward you, Hunter.
Toward me?
Yeah, just a fuzz. Okay. Let me have your side, Hunter. Switch your sides. Sorry. Let's cut that. Yep, down. Okay, down. All right, so that's got our radiator where it needs to be, down inside of the grommets, and the best way we can check for that was from underneath, so you guys saw that. So our next step is going to be to put our two cross member support bolts in. Then we'll tighten those up. Start tightening up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put our lower radiator hose on. I like to put the lower radiator hose on before I bolt the shroud down because I can move the shroud around and do whatever I want to with it. So lower radiator hose, go ahead and slide her on the bottom of the radiator. Then to get to my clamp, sorry, Adam. All right, now that leaves us in a good position to be able to adjust our shroud as we need to. All right. Now the lower radiator shroud, Mishimoto sends a bag of new hardware for this. So make sure that you received your bag of hardware. Be 4 bolts in here, 10 metric head on them, just like what came out of it. We'll go ahead and install those. At the 4 corners of the shroud. And just leave them loose till you get your final placement of your shroud. Swap you at them. Now the shroud, the old shroud had a place on the old radiator for the bottom of the shroud to sit into. Not necessary for this. This sits between the radiator and just bolts to the outside of it there. So we'll get that bolt in. All right, so I've got all 4 bolts of the radiator in, or the fan shroud in. I just want to say a word on fit and finish on the radiator right there. I was fumbling with that bottom bolt, is why we had cut off, but I had the fan in actually the wrong position to get it get that bolt in, but once I laid the fan shroud up correctly, the bolt fell right in. So as far as fit and finish goes of that, and Adam and I see a lot of that on installation videos, be it anything. Sometimes they're just not all of the, if you use factory hardware back or factory mounting locations back, sometimes things will be off, but fit and finish on this was really, really good. So we were impressed with that. So 10 metric, we'll go ahead and tighten up the fan shroud here. Just snug it up, don't over tighten it. Again, your aluminum radiator, plastic fan shroud, it doesn't need to be real tight. All right, now we're going to put our 2 top clips on our radiator shroud in. The top clips, if you can see that right there, the plastic shroud side has got little teeth on it, or barbs. The barb side goes to the shroud. So we go ahead and put that on. There's that. And then we'll drop our wiper washer tank, and we'll put this clip on. So, all right, now we're ready to put our wiper washer tank in. They tried to make an escape on us here. So on your tank, don't forget to hook up your electrical connector for the fluid level, which is right here. And then the power to your motor, which is right here. All right, now I'll start easing that in here, and we'll get our hose, our washer hose ready too. Probably won't be able to see it, but it goes on its little nipple here on the tank, which that's a no-brainer. All right, so now we're ready to install our tank. So our wiper tank has got the 2 clips on the top here to catch it, so you get it lined up. Check our bottom one, has to go in the standard at the bottom, so there you go. Get it engaged, and then get your top ones in, slide and push it till it locks. So there's our wiper washer bottle. While I'm over here, I'm gonna go ahead and put my upper radiator hose on as well. Slide it on, and that way I can be done on my driver's side. All right, now move to the passenger side. All right, now it's time for our coolant overflow bottle, and we'll just go ahead and slide it in the standard at the bottom. Make sure everything at your bottom is lined up here, and then you try to take your top as you go, which is sometimes easier said than done. Like that, and then push down, and then put your hose on. And really, this just about completes your installation. We've got our wiring harness to lay over the top here, which we'll do that as well real quick. So. Mishimoto did put the bolts for the crossover, for the 12-volt crossover wire. That's on here too. So we'll put those on and tighten them down. Actually, you want to just all right, so now that wire is tightened down, now that pretty much completes your installation. All that's left to do is fill the radiator with coolant, and you're good to go again. Mishimoto cap, you use the Mishimoto cap, it's a couple PSI higher, which is going to get you a little lower boiling point of your liquid. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Going back and filling this thing up with coolant, you're going to make sure that you obviously fill the radiator with 50-50 mix of coolant and water. Make sure that you dilute it, then fill your coolant overflow bottle. You'll want to fill until the radiator is full, obviously, and you're getting fluid or coolant out of the block. There is a weep hole here that's, I think, a 1/4 inch or 3/8. I think it's 1/4 inch Allen. Just remove that plug, fill till you start getting coolant out there. That's when you know you've got it all full. So the Mishimoto Radiator, really nice piece. Again, this should be an excellent radiator. It's lifetime warranty on this, very well designed. Fit and finish on this was probably one of the best radiators I've put in as far as fit and finish goes. So if you have a question about this installation or any of our other videos, please give us a call, like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.